Someone out there had decided to do a recording of a Monster Nomad speaker out there on the internet. I decided to go ahead and do one. First of all, you start off and this cage is on there, and you have to pry it off of here with a screwdriver in the corners real good, and bend down on it and make this cage come off of it. Okay, once that occurs, you get this cage off of it, and then you have the speakers that hook into these holes. So the speakers have to be unscrewed, and you're stuck with a line on the speakers, and one of the lines may be easier to come off than the others, but sometimes you would have to stick a screwdriver in one of these terminals in order to get it loose from the terminal on the back of the speaker. So once you get the speakers loose, what I did is put the screws back inside the speakers so I wouldn't lose them. And also, once those are taken off the speakers, you would basically screw out all the screws here, 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 and here to get this off of here. Now, let me go here to the top as well. You would want to unscrew these screws as well. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that have to come off the top of this. It's really monotonous getting this thing out of here. It takes a little while. But once these screws are unscrewed, speakers are out, then you'll come over to the side and take these out the side. And these have to be taken out with screwdrivers. Put a screwdriver in here, pull it. I put a knife in between it, or another screwdriver. And then once that's pried, you stick your screwdriver here with another knife or screwdriver stuck here. And then you keep prying it off until it comes on off. And try not to bust out the tabs that's on there, which normally Murphy's Law that you would bust them out, but mine came out pretty good on both sides where these tabs are not bust out. Once you do that, you can pull this unit apart. I kept all the screws that came out of here inside so I wouldn't lose them. And let me just put this down here for a sec. Once it comes off, it looks like this, and you remember that the short terminal is on this side, the long terminal is on this side, and then you can get to your battery, which is this battery here. Now this battery that comes out of here, I went ahead and left some of the tapings on it because I know once that battery comes back, it has to go back in and be pretty steady. So I ordered another battery offline. Now I think this battery actually is being replaced by a 12 volt 2.6 amp an hour / 20 hour battery now. So I ordered that. It's very difficult to find a 2.3 anymore. So I also made sure it said 20 hours on it and that it's rechargeable. And actually you want to do a measurement of that battery with the battery that you purchased offline to make sure that it's reaching the same specs. The only thing that I found difficult online was that they were measuring by 6, and some of it on a different measuring scale, but I pretty much made sure, with the measurements that they were pretty close from what they measured online. I normally do measurements in fourths or halves and 3/8, and they were doing some of the measurements look like in 6s, but they still ended up the same thing. Like this may say this may say like 2 inches and a little short of 3/4, but on theirs may say 2 and something 6, but it's right just a little bit off of what I'm measuring with the 3/4, but you pretty much get an idea that it's almost the same measurements as you use with that, but they're just using like a 6 or something like that to measure it. But after that, everything came out pretty good. I'm putting everything back together now, because the battery is going to take a little while, maybe a week to come in. So I'm just putting everything off of the table out of the way, because I know that I'm a little meticulous, and I've been moved something in a screw or something. I've been fell on the floor and I'll lose it trying to get it back on there. So I'm keeping all my screws in order back in the speakers, back in here. My speakers are deep in that hole there, and just going to get this and place it out my way. That way when it comes in the battery, I can just stick it in there and don't have to worry about trying to find my screws. I know some other people use, you know, certain little pans to put screws in, but I'm just keeping mine in the unit itself. And also another thing, if you're using it on a table or something, you may want to use a towel, a white towel. That way you can see all the screws in case they fall, and they won't camouflage at your countertop or something like that. Well, that's it, guys. That's the changing out the speaker battery for this Monster Nomad that I've probably had for 3-4 years, and I play it religiously while I'm at work, hours and hours and hours. It had reduced from 25-30 hours without a charge down to about 4 hours now without a charge. So that's why I decided to go ahead and replace the battery, guys. So there you go. That's the changing out of the Nomad speaker by Monster. All right, thanks. Subscribe.